Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Otaku Tea.
Otaku Tea Podcast, episode number 19.
Oh my gosh, it's been so freaking long. And again, we keep doing this where we come on, drop a couple of episodes, and then leave again.
Yeah, we're like the Dine and Dashers.
I don't know. This summer, I feel like it
We're
was
supposed to have
supposed to
like
be.
twice as many episodes at this point.
I know, right? And I don't know why, but this summer has just literally been very, very stressful for me, and I don't know, maybe for you too. It's just been very hectic.
Well, I mean, since you're a teacher, that means you must have been doing something else during the summer, right?
Yeah, so usually for teachers, we are able to just take the 2 months off and, meditate the Lord Jesus Christ out of ourselves to, have to deal with more students. Not deal. I love being with kids, don't get me wrong, and not in the pedophile way either, but
Okay,
it's the I like teaching kids. It's people don't understand how stressful that is, so usually we get the 2 months to rest our souls before we have to go through another 10 months of just having to, teach about 30 kids every hour,
right.
maybe the
So,
same lessons over and over. Like, you imagine kids get bored with one class. Imagine teachers having to teach the same lesson 3 times, maybe 4 times a day, and having to hear themselves say the exact same thing over and over and still find a way to make it interesting.
right.
Which I've been working at a different part-time this whole entire summer, to be honest. And I thought that would, be a little bit of a stress reliever because, it's
Well, is
different.
it part time if you had more than 40 hours a week?
I mean, you know what, guys? It wasn't even part-time. I literally worked a whole full-time job during the summer, and it was very different. It was very different. I actually started working the full-time. Well, it was a part-time at first because in June, since I was still teaching, I still was I was that's when I had just started working at this new place.
Right,
So in June it was a part-time, but the second it hit July, or at least when school ended, it became a full-time job, and it was very, very, very stressful. Um, but fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. And it's still fun because I'm actually still going to be there while I'm, teaching this next new season of my life. But
isn't that going to be too much work?
it is. I mean, as much as I want to say, I don't need this job right now, I think I actually need to stay at this job. Not only because my thought process was, you know what, as teachers, we don't get enough money. So maybe I want to stay with net income. But just seeing how my bills racked up for this semester, I think I need to actually stay now for a good reason. Because this month is just going to be very, very painful for me, and I'm going to be very transparent, very honest. But yeah, I might actually need to pick up an extra day at the because now I'm going back to part-time since I'm not going to be a full-time 40-hour person there. Pick
Right.
up another day just for September, just to make ends meet, which is pretty, again, now stressful because I didn't want to start this new school year stressed, and now I'm gonna be stressed.
Yeah, so I guess typically teachers don't pick up another job, or how, I don't know, do you speak with other teachers and how they
Oh,
do things?
a lot of teachers, and it's very popular, especially in the United States, for teachers to have another part-time job. Sometimes others who can find the time or want to drown themselves because there's no other way out actually pick up another full-time job, just because literally, especially like for teachers who live in New York. Which did you know that New York now surpassed California with being the top most expensive place to live in the United States?
Yay?
Did you hear about that though?
No.
No, okay. It was recent news. I just found out myself. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
imagine.
I only pay attention to the cities because like a state as a whole, like North New York is kind of cheap. So
No, but I mean like the city. Like in
oh,
California, I think. Let me just double
compared
check.
to San Francisco, because I think that was the most expensive
Yeah,
one.
uh-huh. It beats San Francisco.
Well, poopy.
Um, yeah. So now we happen to be for the most expensive rent. Which in a way that is not in a way, that is very bad. That is very, very bad.
Quite. That's why I'm trying to move in with a roommate.
Which is it's funny because a lot of people in New York City happen to live with roommates.
Yeah, I I guess I'm spoiled because I was able to find a place to live on my own. But then, as a result of that, and me also not going to the grocery store and buying food and making my own food, I just order takeout all the time. So I basically have no savings. So I'm
Believe
trying
me.
to see if a two bedroom like with the roommate would be good and cheap enough. But even with that, like it's hard to find places that I know will have parking, so I don't have to pay extra for parking.
Hmm.
Because with the parking, that's like almost $300 a month. It basically adds up to the same amount I'm paying now in most places.
Right. And that's what like my point is, like even you with like a the job that you have. Um for teachers, it's literally I've had previous teachers who used to like say, "Oh, I live with a roommate." And I'm like, "But you're a miss, you're salary based." And they're like, "Uh-huh.
Oh, honey.
Honey, you still live at home, don't you?" Oh gosh. Well then, which is why like I'm going to admit I still do live with my parents, so my rent is cheaper than most people who are with a salary base. Like even compared to you, like my rent is, way cheaper than yours right now. Um
Yeah.
but like even then, like I don't know, it just all racks up, especially like and again I'm going to be very transparent. My coping mechanism is shopping, which is how my channel even started in the first place. So
It's an addiction.
it became like a very addictive coping mechanism that for some reason is now very hard for me to break out of. Because anytime I feel ever in like when my depression comes through, or when I ever feel like I'm so stressed or I'm tired, I'm beat down, like most people will take a nap, will meditate, will do something like play video games or something. No, for me it's the urge having to go outside and get, buy something. It's there. I
Is it time to cut up your credit cards and remove them from your phone wallet?
it's funny because I only have basically two credit cards on my wallet.
Uh huh.
I somehow still find a way to do, and like
You
one
should
of
probably
the
limit yourself to just one.
I wanted to limit myself to two, but like again, that's very hard when like other cards still have monthly payments needing to be done, and as much as I want to limit myself to do, it ends up just being two plus the other monthly things that are showing up on those other cards. Um, so it's just difficult. So because of all of that, I will need to now take on an extra day, and I really wanted to just do 3 days because what I was thinking, like I said, I just want to be able to save money and keep myself busy and like not overwhelm myself, because I'm going to be moving to a different school, like I said in like the previous back past two episodes.
Yeah,
And
you haven't really talked about that yet.
oh yeah, so I'm starting a new school. And I'm very excited because FYI, five. Well, there used to be six, but five. It was six, five plus the principal, but and now at this point, it's five people who I used to have as teachers. Now will be my coworkers, which is really exciting
Oh,
because
from like your high school?
from my high school, yeah,
They all work there?
they all work at the same high school that I will be transferring to. And just in next week, I'm going to be starting with to work with the
So
high.
is it your same high school or a different one, and they just all happen to go
No,
there?
it's a different high school that they all just happen to be in that same one.
Oh, that's
Even the
cool.
principal that used to be she only came in my last senior year because the previous principal transferred out. But she was going to be my new principal, but circumstances, she was also transferred out into a different school. I don't know what that is. The DOE is a little bit weird with it comes down to transferring teachers and transferring principals and all of that stuff.
That happened within the same year.
Literally, I got hired by my principal,
Uh huh.
and probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, she was transferred out. Uh,
Huh.
but I was able to still keep my position, and they want to their whole plan is to expand the language department, which in particular the Spanish department. So I will not be teaching Mandarin this year because
Oh.
my and no, it's great because it relieves me from an extra stress that I had. Because it's different from teaching one language to two languages.
Right.
My first year ever, like officially teaching, I taught three different subjects: AP Spanish, Spanish 1, and Mandarin 1. Now, you might think because AP Spanish and Spanish 1 are, in the same category in Spanish, it would be easier. No, it's a lot more complex. AP Spanish is more like a college level, which I need to do more thinking and processing and more hands on type work with them versus the ones who are starting from zero.
Right. And
I'm like,
like extensive reading materials, you have to make sure that the assignments you're giving the students like make sense academically.
yeah, exactly. So, and for them to be able to pass the AP exam that happens at the end of the year, which technically is not the end of the year, it comes in May. But yeah, it's a lot. So switching from, because I used to have AP Spanish my first period, so I had to wake up knowing that I had to teach an extensive course
Oof.
bright early in the morning.
Why would they have AP classes in the morning?
I don't know. They decided let's give the first year the really hard schedule this year. Um,
Hmm. No, I wonder why.
the my previous school is very questionable. I can tell you that. More tea about that later. Anyways, and then
But
having
did your friend get out?
Um, my friend, depends on which one.
Um, the teacher friend that I don't.
Oh, no, she's staying.
Oh,
She decided, well, she's very liked at that school, especially by the principal. So she's like, I'm not going to have it hard here. It's going to be pretty easy for me. And I 100% agree. If it's a pretty easy school to be at and you're relaxing and chilling and you're able to do whatever you want, go for it. Stay.
uh huh.
But like in my circumstance, it was very difficult to work there just because the principal did not like me at all. It just made it very hard to walk in the building, being in the feeling of depression as I walked in, just to get out the elevator with a big smile and be like, "Good morning, everyone." I just sometimes felt like I was being fake when it came down to looking at my staff members, my coworkers, and then I was genuine with the students, but there was some times where like even with my students, I really just wanted to be in my depressed mood. I didn't want to be there, but I still had to show the bright smile and the cheery 100,000% energy.
Right.
Because the students feel it when you're not there. They feel it when you're not present. So if you're not present, they're not present, and they go based off what they feel.
Yeah.
So if you show that you're passionate in there, the students will most likely also be passionate 90% of the time, because there's always that 10% of students who will still hate you even if they like you. But
I think that's called a tsundere,
I guess
maybe.
maybe. But yeah, so I worked at my previous school for 2 years and I hated it. I loved teaching with the students, and there were a couple of coworkers I enjoyed being with, but I hated the school. I hated waking up in the morning, having to go to a place I really hate going to, just to then spend 7 hours and being in a place that I hate,
Right.
waiting for the clock to count down to three something because we had an abnormal schedule. It was weird.
It
I
was different times, different days, right?
Different times. Actually, for the remote, it was still annoying because for me, a person that was disliked by admin, it was so frustrating because I had no assistance and no help. There was no sense of direction,
Right. No check-ins, no
no
meetings.
nothing,
Mm.
no feedback, and it was so difficult to do my job when I don't even know if I'm doing it right now. That's not to say I don't know how to do my job. I know how to do my job. The thing is that if you do it and you think it's always working out and nobody's telling you like, hey, maybe today's not working out, or this activity didn't work out as planned, you think you're still doing it right because you yourself, if you're not a harsh judger on yourself, I am sometimes. I'm not all the time. So if I feel like it still worked, even though it didn't, like a third person watching you and being like, no, it didn't work, you still tend to continue doing what you were doing without saying that it's wrong, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, without feedback on what you're doing, you really don't know how people are taking it. Like it's always good to have a second opinion.
Yeah. And as much, I was desperately looking for a second opinion, but everyone's like all of the coworkers I was very close to, their hands were very full. Um, so I was hoping that at least from the people who didn't like me can give me some type of, I could dig from their biased opinion to find something useful. Um,
Right. They were very eager to try to control you and all that, but then they didn't provide feedback, right?
no, that's exactly what happened. They were very eager to point fingers at me when they saw something they didn't like. But the second I needed, sense of direction, they were just like, figure it out.
Right.
And that's very frustrating to a teacher because one, with those who have an assistant, which is like people who with have co-teachers who are helping with the special education students or sped students, they could talk to each other, they know what needs to be done, they get feedback to each other, which is cool because you have somebody else who's already there to back you up. For language classes, that's not going to ever be the case because you will never have a second person. The Department of Education thinks that language is easy enough to figure out without having a second person to be in the same room with you.
Right.
But
I mean, I think that was pretty much how it was in college too, though.
no, in
Although
college,
to be fair, the language classes were smaller.
no, 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 100%. The thing is, in college, colleges don't care if you have X, Y, and Z excuses. Like, it's not even excuses, but like in high school, if you happen to have, for example, an IEP, you get accommodations. In college, you need to be responsible to tell the college you have an IEP. Because if you
Right.
don't tell them anything, they don't care. And a lot of colleges will not give you those accommodations because, again, you're an adult. You should know this is your responsibility, which is why I was feel uncomfortable with my previous school because they wanted to keep treating the kids as if they were in elementary school, thinking that they would get all the help in the world. And I 100% agree with giving them help when needed, but not holding their hand throughout the whole way because afterwards they don't know how to do it themselves, which we have had proof to happen with previous students who have now graduated and realized college is too hard. I've had one student who wasn't my student, but she was my friend, my coworker friend student, and she came to me and was like, yeah, I'm in a CUNY school. I'm glad I'm in college, but I realized it was nothing like what I had here. I was helped way too much that once I got there, I realized, man, I am by myself or I am going to sink really hard. So she said she had to fight with everything she had and put all of her strength into figuring out things on her own, because she was always given crutches. She was always been given a wheelchair and, pushed
Right.
around to do things not by herself. And she's a smart kid. Like, she is really smart. But because she was given everything in her hands, she didn't know how to fight for the things she needs. So
Did
her
she
thing,
go to like the office hours and all that, or was it just like overwhelming, and she didn't really know what to do?
she didn't know that there was office hours. She was overwhelmed and she didn't know that
Mm,
teachers don't help you anymore. It's either you make an appointment or you're screwed. You figure out based on your notes,
right.
because college is a lecture based school. Like, no matter what college you go to, it's always lecture based. And in my previous school, notebooks was always looked down upon.
What?
I know.
No notebooks?
So notebooks by the principal was always looked down upon, because it's like, well, the kids are just copying and pasting what you have on the board in the notebook. And it's like, yes, kind of. It depends on the student, because if the student knows what they're doing, they know to write down extra information, not just copy and paste, which is what middle school usually prepares students to do. So once they go into high school, they don't know what to do. They do the exact same thing as middle school. So by the time they're in 10th grade, they know how to take better notes. But if you're a ninth grade teacher, like I was, like myself in that school, mostly,
Mm-hmm.
you just saw the copy and paste from board to notebook. And I've trained my students to do, if you're going to do that, at least know that on the margins or next to what you just took, write down, this is important because of X, Y, and Z. Same thing in the lectures. Like, I try to teach my students the way colleges usually teach students, because that school really did not want kids to learn in the college level or get them college ready. And that's really hard to explain to somebody who, that high schools are supposed to be college ready schools, that this school was not college ready friendly. Uh,
Right.
so again, this school was trying to teach students as if they were in middle school, and then throwing them off into these really higher up colleges, and then once they go in there, they don't know what to do. So some of my coworkers who really were passionate in trying to teach college base, I guess, etiquette C, or however, or like, I don't know, what is it called, like, not
Uh,
college level material, but college level skills. Like, if you're gonna take notes, also add this. Listen to what they're talking, or if you don't want to copy and paste what they have on the board, write down what they're saying, or
right.
important, like, or color code everything. Like, this is what you need to do. Due dates are important. Apparently, in my old school, due dates were not important. Getting on to class on time is important. Giving a good excuse, like, let's say if you're sick and you cannot come, please let it be known, because if you just don't happen to show up, that's a big no-no. Then
Right.
there's not going to be like, okay, but you didn't tell me. you know in college, you always have to send an email saying, I'm not going to be able to make it to class for X, Y, and Z reason. um in high school, usually that's what the parents are there for, but you also need to, I've always told my students, if you're not going to be in class, please send me an email saying why you're not going to be in class, so I at least know you're not just skipping my class, especially since last year was mostly all remote. If you're not going to show up, please let me know why you're not going to show up, and you need to come to me to get the material that you forgot,
Right.
that you didn't get the day you were absent. uh but yeah, so some of my coworkers and I try to give those college level skills to the students and try to teach them to the best that we can with the limitations that we had. Um, that's all we could do because everything else is every man for themselves there. And there's just like a lot of, popularity competitions there. No one asked for it, but apparently there were. Um, it was just very stressful. I did not like the environment. Uh, it was just a mess. It was a mess.
Uh huh.
A lot of
But
students knew how to play the system too, because especially those who didn't really care about their education, when you can actually tell some of them just didn't care about their education, they didn't really care about actually learning, they just cared about graduating and calling it a day. Found out how they can get past with like pass with a good grade and not have to work hard for it.
yep.
That was also very hard to swallow.
But now you have a new beginning.
Yes, when I got interviewed, my first thing that they asked me was, "Why are you leaving, or why do you want to leave this school that you're in?" And I said, "I'm going to be honest.
Uh oh. But
I
you
don't
don't do that.
no, they really appreciated it. That's why I got hired."
Uh huh.
I said, I to be honest, one of the big reasons I left this school was for lack of accountability to students. I believe students should be held accountable for their actions and for not being able to, turn in the assignments that are asked for. Give them the accountability of they need to be the ones to push themselves, as well as me as the teacher to push them. But they need to be the ones, like, that saying, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped.
Right.
Like, I can help them, but if they don't want my help, I can't force them. So the accountability needs to always be on the student, unless there are some circumstances where the accountability has nothing to do with the student, but with the family or with the school itself. But most of the accountability has to be held on the student. And the principal who was interviewing me really liked that. She said that the school that I'm going to really does like to hold students accountable. It teaches them that the self-respect and the skills that they need for the next level. That is what college readiness is, besides the courses that you're taking. AP courses is cool and all, but if it's been handed to you, it's not really preparing you for college level stuff either. You
Right.
know? Yeah, so she liked my answers, and because she knew me and she remembered that I was really a good student. I was that type of student where I was always there. Perfect attendance, everything. I was on the honor roll. I never created problems.
I don't have good attendance.
Yeah, no. I was the one who was like, I have to go to school. I need to go to school. I have things to worry about. I have to think about my grades. My grades need to be on top. I need to always be on top of everything. So she remembered me and she was like, "Yeah, you were a really good student. I remember you."
Nice.
So I'm not saying it as like, because there are some teachers who were not the best students but became teachers themselves because they realized, damn, I should have been good to my teachers when I was younger. And it's like, yeah, you
Yep.
should have. Adult fun and games all the time.
Fun and games. Who has
Yeah,
fun?
what's fun anymore? I don't know.
Hmm. I guess it's my turn to spill some tea.
Well, what tea is there?
Um. So you remember Liberty City Anime Con, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Uh, what is your opinion of them?
Well, I believe it's the two times I went.
Mm-hmm.
Very small, very basic, and you could literally go through that thing in one day.
Right.
And I
But I mean, like
remember,
back then, it seemed like they were trying to set stuff up and like organize things, and it was just a fan thing, so it wasn't like official companies, but they were still getting sponsors and all that.
yeah, and I remember seeing Sea Dog VA, which I was still surprised they were able to get him there. because he's a top YouTuber right now and doing Japanese and anime vlogs and videos
Right.
on YouTube. So I'm really surprised they were able to get him there.
Yeah. So then, because of the pandemic, they had to postpone last year's
Hmm.
con. It was going to be this year,
Right.
but it turns out it had to be canceled for unknown reasons.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think they announced this in like the beginning of July or something on Twitter, and only on Twitter.
Only on Twitter.
Yeah, their Facebook hasn't been updated. I think I don't know. I don't. No, wait, they did announce something on Facebook. I think. Either way, it was incredibly difficult to get in contact with them. So what they were doing was they said, "Oh yeah, sorry, all that," and you can contact this email address for a refund. You know, since
Right.
the con never happened, so you should be able to get a refund, even though we did buy the tickets a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted them, but like even before then, I was trying to contact them, like, "Hey, is the con happening this year? Like,
Like at all.
any updates?" Because like they posted something for Black Lives Matter, but then just went silent until they canceled.
Oh, wow.
So that was like a few months of just nothing. When I was trying to contact them, like, "Hey, con's coming up. Is it still happening, or are the tickets carrying over from when we bought them last year?"
Like it usually, like it did for Anime NYC, right?
Right. So that's gonna happen in November. The tickets are carried over and all that, so we're all
Mm-hmm.
set. But for Liberty City, so I contacted them multiple times, like, "Hey, services were not provided. Please provide a full refund to all ticket holders," and nothing, just silence. Contacted them several times over like a couple weeks. I had to threaten them twice.
Oh, what did you say?
I mean, basically, I was like, please provide a full refund for all ticket holders. Otherwise, this issue will be escalated.
Okay.
Uh, so, what they did at first was just give me a partial refund. I was like, all right, thank you for that. But you have to give a full refund to all ticket holders. Otherwise, this issue will be escalated. And
Yes.
then they gave me the rest. But, like, there's no accountability right now because who knows who they gave refunds to and who they just kept the money from.
Right. I mean, that's just showing that they only were giving refunds to those who were actually willing to fight for it.
Exactly. Because they probably spent all the money.
But on what? The thing was canceled.
Right, but they probably had to pay like deposits or whatever and they didn't get the money back and then I guess some sort of like fees from the hotel or whatever. But
I
like
mean,
even still that's something that you should communicate and be like, due to the situation we try our best to get like full refunds for everyone. Unfortunately we were held accountable for all these fees and deposits and blah blah blah. So we'll be issuing like a 70% refund to everyone or something like something official, something accountable,
yeah,
and something that they're actually um, telling people that they're doing. But it was just a tweet like, "Hey, contact this random email and for refund information," and that's it. They don't even reply. They just gave me the refund after I threatened them.
wow. Okay. That's very sketchy. That kind
Yeah,
of
I mean it's probably just some like 20-something-year-old people putting together an event and they got overwhelmed by everything. So,
that's really
it's
hard.
whatever, but still, like, there's got to be some accountability.
No, yeah, I 100% agree, but that's kind of heartbreaking when it's the fans making a con for other fans. Because that kind of reminds me of, that TanaCon situation where a
Right.
YouTuber tried to make a VidCon but called it TanaCon, and not knowing what the heck they were doing, it all failed. And then we're not held responsible and accountable for the things that ended up happening afterwards.
Did they refund tickets in the end?
I don't think so. I think like they did it with Liberty City. Like some people got some of their money
Hmm.
back. A lot of people didn't though.
Right.
Uh it just makes it a lot more iffy to want to participate in a fan based con then.
Exactly. And I think Rooster Teeth has also spoken about this before. I'm still like what, like 6 years behind on their podcast, but like they were talking about like some super small con that had like a petting zoo and like a ball pit that
What
was
the heck?
dirty, and like it was just like a mess. And they were like, yeah, fan run cons don't really work, but instead you can go to RTX. And they were like talking about their own con, which they love so much. And apparently it's been really good. I don't know about recent, but it seems like it's been popular since they started.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Bigger cons are working because they have professionals running it.
Right, they have the manpower to oversee the different departments that are needed, especially like security,
Mhm.
just refreshments. What do you call it?
Because to be honest,
The line people, the
the only way people
crowd
ever got
things.
refreshments at the Liberty City Con was because the hotel literally had their own section of it, not because they had a
Well, I
whole.
think there was like the giant water jug, you can get like cups of water or something, right?
No. Like outside of like the first year, I think no, it was the second year. Outside because of the room, one of the rooms, there was a concession stand, if you can call it that. It was the hotel's pastry bakery type thing that was
Uh
outside
huh.
of that room. That was the only way people had like the ability to get anything. They just had to buy it directly from the hotel.
Right.
But
The
yeah,
second year they had water. I guess that was probably coordinated with the hotel
probably. Who knows? It's heartbreaking.
because it was like those giant uh, clear plastic
Yeah.
containers that hotels and conference rooms always have whenever they're
Hmm.
doing those. So probably the hotel.
But it's just heartbreaking that when you want to support a fan base con, then they ended up just doing this. It kind of makes it iffy to join it again.
Right.
But who knows? We'll see if they come out with an apology video or something
To get the views.
to get the views. But no, but in all seriousness, like I hope they learn from this because it sounds like that's not gonna happen. Just because they're making it difficult for people to get their refunds back and for them being so quiet. I don't know if they believe their fans are, smart enough to realize that they paid for tickets and they never got their money worth back.
Right. I'm
Um,
wondering if they're even gonna do another one or just like stay away from this, just take their money and run.
Maybe, but then again, they still had a lot of fans. It sounds like they still had a lot of fans who went after them. Um,
Hmm. Not really.
Probably, hopefully,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
like
they probably would take it and
on the
run.
Facebook and Twitter post, there was like two comments
Oh
like
no,
asking about the refunds and if the con was happening, and so it doesn't seem like there were that many people still interested in it.
no, that's so bad.
Yeah, but I got my money back, so
That's
whatever. They can go somewhere.
I would say if Comic Con or Anime NYC wanted to do anything like that, they'd be canceled on the spot.
Right.
They're too big for them to keep fans shut about it. By the way, did you get the email that John Cena is going to be at the Comic Con this year?
I did not see that.
Oh, it's because you can't see him. It's just not gonna happen.
Ha
It's
ha ha ha.
ha ha. you know. But no, he is actually going to be at the Comic Con because of Suicide Squad and Fast and Furious 9.
He's in Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, his outfit for the Suicide Squad looks like
Is
he
this
was.
a reboot or a sequel?
This is a sequel. It's the third movie
Thir-
that's come out.
Third?
Yeah, because
They
Bird
made a second one.
it technically is like.
Oh, Birds of Prey isn't a sequel.
I mean, okay, it's
It's just the
Suicide
same
Squad,
Harley.
then it's her side story, and now it's a sequel to the original
Mm,
Suicide Squad, I guess.
I guess so.
Because the Birds of Prey still has Suicide Squad logo under it, if
Uh,
I remember correctly. I actually have the movie, so I'm gonna check that right now. Uh, anyways, it's not loading. So
Okay.
I'm not good of a reference person right now.
Yeah, I have it too, but I don't know where I put it. I mean,
Well, Birds of
Birds
Prey.
of Prey was a good movie though,
It really was a good movie. It was a woman empowering movie.
right? But I guess it seems like Hollywood's sort of been doing that well recently.
What?
I haven't seen the Wonder Woman sequel, but the first one was pretty good. I like Captain Marvel a lot. It seemed like they handled that the best, even though there was a lot of cringy
Mm,
uh, 90s and 2000s references. But the character herself was, I mean, like confident and like able to handle herself. Like she didn't need help.
no, I'm not gonna lie. I did like Captain Marvel, like the her own individual movie. I did not like her a lot in the uh
Endgame,
Endgame.
where she just basically, hey, I'm here. They're all dead.
Hey, I'm here. Who needs help? And at the end of the day, she needed help.
Hmm.
I'm like, I thought you were the strongest person alive, Captain Marvel.
And it's also funny that she thought that other things were more important than what this was, which was going to affect the entire universe.
Yeah, I don't know. She said I understand where she's coming from, but I don't understand where she was coming from because she did say other universes don't have the Avengers. And again, I get it, but Thanos was going to literally destroy half of the universe, planet Earth. I don't know. It was. I think Thanos was a really big thing to worry about at the current moment, but I guess not for her.
Maybe she thought everyone could handle it. I don't know. I mean,
But
there are like a lot of superheroes.
I mean, yeah, but they still failed. So where was she going? Because she did say it in Endgame, like, you guys didn't need me, but clearly you guys needed me. So I mean, clearly you should have been there then.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that happened. I like I said, I did like her individual movie. I did not like her in Endgame. I did not watch Wonder Woman though.
really?
No, I didn't.
Huh.
Um,
I
I
think I
don't
saw it
know.
on a plane,
It was the I got nothing else to do, so let me watch this instead.
basically, and it turned out pretty good. So I bought it, and eventually I'm gonna watch the sequel once that price goes down
Oh right. I'm going to try to watch the Suicide Squad soon. Hopefully, maybe. Um,
in the theater.
yeah. I like theater watching it in theaters because it gives you that experience that you don't get at home. You know
Uh,
what I mean?
French, huh?
I mean, at least for me, you
Uh
know.
huh. Right.
But
So
yeah,
are you Stubbs Premiere or A List or
I'm
any of
now a
that?
Stubbs Premiere.
Oh,
Yeah, I paid for the membership once, and they never gave it to me.
really?
So it just took my $15. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
But now I'm back at the Stub Premiere,
Right.
and my ticket was almost free, and my food was almost free.
Yeah. Like it's such a good deal, especially if you go to the movies like, every couple months even. Like it's worth it.
Yeah, it definitely is. I just went to see yesterday. Um, Free Guy.
Is that Ryan Reynolds?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
unexpectedly was a good movie. Like it unexpectedly was a good movie. I
I
give it an
mean,
8 out of 10.
Ryan Reynolds is like a good actor.
No, he
So,
is.
yeah.
But if you look at it like with my group of friends, we were like, when the acting isn't that great, but the story keeps you going, that's basically what that was.
Huh. I would have thought that it would be the opposite, that the story is kind of crap and it's just like whatever, feel good comedy, but the acting's good so you're pulled in, but okay, the other way around.
No, it was the other way around for me. That's why I give it an 8 out of 10. Like the storyline was different. I wasn't expecting half of the things that they had in the movie.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, whoa. There were some moments where I'm like, okay, the pacing's a little too fast. How does he know he needs to go this way? How does he know he needs to do that way? Why is his reaction not like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's just like, let me go this way and see what happens.
Right.
Like, how would you know to go that way? You're kind of rushing this a little too fast.
Mm,
What's going on? Uh, but yeah, so that's why I'm like, there's just a little bit of it where I'm like, But the storyline was very good. I recommend people watching it. It was unexpected. Um, yeah, 8 out of 10 rating.
all right. Sounds good. Any other movies?
I did see Final Fantasy.
Mm,
Fast and Furious 9. I cannot do the FF, all right? Every time I see FF, I think of Final Fantasy.
well, that is the better franchise.
It's a way better franchise.
Have you watched the all the other FS movies?
My favorite is Tokyo Drift. I think that's everybody's favorite movie.
Mm,
Oh,
it's contested. Like there's a lot of people on both sides, but the people that do like it a lot. The people that don't like it hate it. So it's like it's very dividing. I think
yeah.
because like the purists like the first two or whatever.
True. I liked Tokyo Drift because it was different. I like Japan,
Right.
so it hit closer to my heart.
Even though it was like a 40-year-old guy trying to act like he's 18.
Yeah. But for FF9, you actually okay. I'm not trying to spoil, but you need to watch it because there's some parts of the movie where I was like, yes, yes,
Nice.
yes. But then half of the movie you couldn't see John Cena. It was pointless. Like I feel like I should have gotten half the discount because I couldn't see one of the more important actors in the movie.
Hmm. I guess you needed the 3D glasses.
Right?
Do they still do 3D movies?
They do actually.
Is it the clear glasses that you wear, or do they have the technology to not even require those anymore?
I think it's the. There was one time I needed the glasses, and then I think there was another time where I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. I know I needed the glasses for Kong versus Godzilla.
How was that?
It was an okay movie, an 8 out of 10.
Hmm.
I liked my favorite part of that movie was the background of the fights King Kong had and the fights that Godzilla had, and how
Right.
they're the last two remaining species of their kind.
Uh, well, last two remaining members of their species.
Well, yeah,
But
basically.
there was another Godzilla movie that came out recently, right?
Which other one?
Or it's gonna come out. Was
Maybe
there? I thought there
the
was like
most
a.
recent one is Kong versus Godzilla,
Oh, that was the newest.
or Godzilla versus Kong. I don't remember which one comes
Oh
first.
yeah, that's the one where he has that big hammer thingy
Yeah,
in the trailer, at least.
I believe so.
Axe, maybe. I don't know. Either
I
way,
don't know anymore.
it seems like Godzilla is sort of making a comeback.
And it should because Godzilla is a good franchise.
Right. I haven't seen any of it.
Cause like Pacific Rim
Hmm.
reminds me a lot of Godzilla.
Yeah, because they have the kaiju, which is
Hmm.
basically what Godzilla is all about, him
Yeah,
fighting other monsters.
exactly. So Godzilla should stay in present day because it's been ongoing for a long, long time. Like when
Hmm.
was the first movie out? 19 something.
Probably. I don't remember. I looked it up at one point, but that was like a couple months ago,
If I
back
had my
when we
brother
were
on
gonna
here,
talk about Godzilla, but then didn't.
my brother is the expert in Godzilla. I
Right.
didn't know all of this information.
Can ask him.
Every birthday of his, I slowly collect the silver cover DVDs. I forget what they're called, but it's a series,
Mm,
and there's not many copies out there. That's why they're so expensive. Um,
right.
so I'm slowly getting them for him. He wants the whole collection, and I'm just like, listen, bro, that's a little hard, okay? And you gotta calm yourself down right there.
Hmm. Take your own advice.
I mean, I know.
Right. It's
All
time to
right.
wrap up. I am out of time.
Yes. So Chris has a phone call he needs to get to. So
A
we are
very important phone call.
very important phone call because he's a very important person.
Yay!
Yay, VIP. And I should probably go eat. And it's raining outside in New York, so if you're hearing some background noises, that's what it is.
Yep, we made sure to tell you right at the end.
Right at the end. Yeah, so if you made it this far, congratulations. You now hear rain. But thank you guys all for joining us in with episode 19. We will see you next week. Hopefully, we do actually are going to be making topic podcasts from here on out, hopefully.
Right. Yep.
That way it'd be easier for us to make this podcast a little bit more interesting, and that way we can be on this more on time.
Yes.
Unlike me right now, I said I'm going to be uploading every Wednesday, and it's Wednesday.
Oh.
I haven't done
Every Sunday we need to have decided our topic by then.
Yes.
That's our deadline.
So as Chris is going to go and have a phone call, I'm gonna eat, and then I gotta record a couple of videos because I'm kind of behind on my own schedule.
Yep.
Life is so hard.
Hey. Gotta go.
Okay, gotta go. All right, so you can catch us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the other places, and the link will be in the description below. And yeah, no, Chris doesn't have time to list all of them, so we will see you next time with episode 20. And bye.
Bye.